It is August 18th. I'm up at Big Moose Lake. I'm on the northeast corners campsite. Beautiful site. It's a beautiful day out. It's about 88 degrees. I was looking around. I turned on the weather radio. Yes, I carry a CC Craig, and I think it is the name. And I got the message from Ely that we have a possibility of some pretty big thunderstorms and heavy rains tonight. Looking at the sky, you wouldn't know it, but to be just a little bit cautious, what I did is I really buttoned up my tarp and I did some pre-packing. So this is the setup that I came in on when it was absolutely pouring rain on Tuesday, but I did some blockage on this backside. And yes, that's a trash bag. It's a big contractor trash bag. The other thing I did is I did some tie downs, what I call root tie downs. So I tried to find roots that are sticking up and then tie the guidelines to it and over tighten them. Yeah, not over tighten them, but really snug them up. Oh, now it says it's 91 degrees in the sun. Wow. I learned a lesson about that last September when a group of guys and I were up in Gun Lake. And they were out fishing, and I got a weather report of heavy rains coming, and I double tarped everything, and oh my gosh, did it rain. I mean, we sat there for like an hour and a half in just torrential downpours. So again, it took a little bit of time just to make sure I'd be comfortable and safe in case I had to have dinner under the tarp, which I really don't like to do, but sometimes that's just a necessity. So I'll have a dinner under the tarp on the first night and possibly on the last night. And if we do get rain tonight, well, someone's going to inherit some really nice firewood. I always appreciate it when I come into a campsite up here in the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness. Someone leaves some wood behind. So I've got some brush on the left-hand side. I got some tinder in the fire grate, and of course a nice stack of wood in case it gets wet. That way it'll dry. The other thing I did is I came up here to my tent, and of course, since it's nice out, I drag everything out of it. I bring the top quilt out, let it sun, make sure it's nice and dry. But I zipped everything down, and what I mean by that is these flaps here can normally come out and be horizontal. So when you lay in it, and it's not raining, you can look out at the lake. But what I did here, just to ensure, a little bit of overcautiousness, I ran a line in between them, so I'm totally encased up in there. There's no area that the rain could get in there. And I've always had good luck with these tarps. Tensile makes a great product. Again, that's the Una. Highly recommend it. Takes a little bit of getting used to how to set up. I brought the tail way down, and again, as you can see from underneath here, I'm going to be well cocooned inside this. So let it rain. And the other interesting thing that happens is because it's connected to three trees, it doesn't move. So the wind could come, it doesn't shimmy back and forth. I really prefer this to a gathered end hammock. I did start out with that. Gosh, that was back in the early, I think 2006, 2007. I had a 2006, yeah, it's about right. I had a Hennessy hammock, the Safari model, and I really liked it. It was really innovative at the time, but I always felt as if I was a banana when I was sleeping. And it was very uncomfortable. So I still have it. I never use it. It's probably going to go up for sale at some point in time. So just a quick update. I'm probably going to go out for a little canoe ride. Maybe you can come along. I'm not sure, but we'll find out. So again, thanks for coming along, and we'll catch up with you in a bit. see here. Can you read that? Yeah, it's about 2:30 in the afternoon on August 18th on Big Moose Lake. I hear all kinds of thunder up in that direction. And for what I look at the map, and what I've heard in the reports, it's supposed to go to the north of me. I just hope it does. Because to the south, it looks much better. But you know what? If we get rain, we get rain. As I shot earlier, I'm prepared for it. Alrighty, it's just after maybe 4:15 or such. We did some fishing. You know, again, if you want to catch smallmouth bass, little teeny tiny bass, smallmouth bass, this is the lake for it. I didn't catch anything else. But interestingly, the wind came from the north a little bit, and now it's no wind at all. The whole time I've been here, it's been coming from the south. We do have a little bit of rain, that's why I'm underneath the tarp. But interestingly, the temperature is now reading, I don't know if you can see that, 70 degrees. Maybe if I hit the light. 70 degrees. So the high today, at least when I saw it, was 97. So now a few hours later, I'm down at 70 degrees. We'll see what happens. As I say, I'm all hunkered down. I built this thing for the wind from the south. I hope that's indeed, if we do have some wind, that's where it comes from. If not, I can drop, you know, the front of this to make it a little bit more windproof. But anyway, this is what the Boundary Waters is all about. Yeah, it's about 5:15. It is really coming down, but we're high and dry. I did adjust this tent here. The Una's doing fab, and tonight for dinner we're having mushroom and risotto. And I'm going to add to it some premium white chicken. Woo, doggies! That's eating good, high and dry in the rain. But it looks not too bad out there, so let's just see what happens in another hour or so. Nothing you can do but sit back and enjoy. Just torrentially rained for good gosh, I want to say half an hour to 45 minutes, but it came down in buckets. I'm trying to pick the camera. There's some puddles. I did get a little bit under the tent, but nothing to speak of. Stayed absolutely bone dry there. You can see some of the puddles here and some of the puddles there by the fire pit. You know what? I'm hopeful I might still have a fire tonight. One just never knows. But I got my risotto and mushrooms with chicken. I added some dehydrated onions and dehydrated garlic. Garlic! I'm a fan of garlic! So let's just see how that turns out. Alrighty then, I've taken a chance. It's been about 15-16 minutes since the food went in the cozy. It's not raining right now, and I want to sit out here and enjoy my dinner with this view. So let's see how it came out. Ooh, let's see. Let's see how it came out. Move this thing. Look at that. Ooh. Gotta watch my dailies. There it is. There's the mushrooms and the chicken and the risotto. Oh man, my piece of naan bread. Let me do a taste here. You know, mushrooms are done perfectly. Risottos, tasty. Well, I've got some naan bread and some risotto with mushrooms and chicken, with extra garlic and extra onion. Oh, I've seen enough YouTube videos of the Boundary Waters, and they don't seem to be complete without a tour to the Donaker. Yeah, the depository. When I came in on Tuesday, when I hit the lake after 2 portages and several beaver dams, I met a couple Forest Service people, a young man and a young woman, who were just out in the lake doing some campsite taking care of. And they informed me the campsite that I really wanted was not that great, and I should really take a look at this campsite. And I told them that I sleep in trees, I want a lot of rocks, and I did stop by the first campsite that I wanted, and they were absolutely right. So I got here, and it was like awesome. And one thing they did tell me is they took the time to dig a new latrine. So I'm like the first person to leave a little remnants of myself in this new latrine. So it's a little bit far back here in the woods, but I thought I'd give you a little tour up by these glacial erratics, which means these great big stones that get dumped once the glacier recedes. I mean, these things are huge. Huge, I tell you. Huge! So off we go through the woods, and this is all like green carpet. It's really amazing. And as we get back here, it's not a breath of air. I don't know what the temperature, I didn't check, but yesterday it got up to 80 degrees. And so I give you, there's the old Donaker pooper, pit toilet, whatever you want to call it. And then here's the new one. And it's number 8. It's number 8. So I'll stop here. You don't need to see me do my thing, but it's even got a lid on it. So I want to show you the canoe garage, as we call it up here in the Boundary Waters. The first one I came into, now granted, it was raining like a son of a gun, and I just wanted to get out of the boat because I came from over that direction to here. So this is what I used, and it was really difficult to get in and out. I kept having to remind myself by saying, slippery rocks, slippery rocks. So then when I was out and about yesterday taking a trip, I went around to the back side of this campsite. Again, Moose Lake, northeast corner. I believe it's 181 or 183. I know the 182 is the one across that I was originally looking at. But I did circle the place once and didn't find a adequate, what I would think adequate, canoe garage. But yet yesterday when I was out and about, I went way back in this little, like a swampy area. It's where the Big Moose Trail comes in. And I discovered this absolute wonderful garage. And let me take you there for a quick visit. It's a little bit of a hike, but not bad. I've seen worse. And there's my little boat. It is a Northwind Solo by Paragus. Actually, by Northwind, rented from Paragus. But I discovered this. Nice little area, nice depth. You've got a rock that goes out. You can load right here, firm body of firm. Oh boy, clouds are starting to come in. Very firm, very deep here. But I figured this must be the actual landing for this campsite. Again, you got to go past the campsite. Don't be confused by this little area. You can see there's my tent, but come around here, right when you think there, and turn. And again, wonderful, wonderful landing for your canoe. Hello there, little guy. You're pretty. That's one thing everyone asks. Well, don't you get bored out there? It's like, heck no. You know, I do bring a book, but I find I never tap. Because just walking around, there's always such interesting things to see and hear if you listen. Because again, it's quiet. Quiet! We like quiet. I'm not the type of man that likes to have TVs or radios in the background. I just prefer quiet. I can think. And here's a nice little tent pad area. And again, look at all the boulders strewn around here. It's just amazing. And I hear some boomies. So again, when you have weather, always take the time to set up for it. I'm pretty well pre-packed for tomorrow morning. If I get up and it's pouring rain, I'm going to have to pack up and pack down in the rain, which is not a fun thing, and portage out of here in the rain. But again, I've got good gear. I've got solid portage boots, or portage boots, however you want to pronounce it's fine with me. So you just take your time and you just understand your abilities and reside within those. Well, here it is. It's the morning time. It's roughly 6:30 in the morning. I'm just breaking down camp. Isn't that a beautiful shot? Isn't that a beautiful sound? The neat thing about it is this pan I got at Susan Peters' garage sale. Perfect size for one egg. Oh, a little pepper already on it. The other trick I do is when I pack my eggs in a little container, is I always put a piece of just a little bit of shall I call it paper towel, so it kind of holds the eggs a little bit more secure. And then I have something to wipe out the pan, and then obviously put it in the garbage. All right, that's it for now. The eggs are done. Oh my gosh, there ought to be a law. There ought to be a law about eating this good in the woods. Man, that's delicious. A little bit of non-ancient greens with a beautifully cooked egg on it. All right, time to finish it up. All right, it's about 9 o'clock in the morning. There's camp. It's all cleaned up. Woke up. It's humid. It's not hot. It's probably mid-60s, but man, is it humid. So I got to go over there for about a mile and hit my first portage. But what a wonderful campsite. Absolutely fabulous. Beautiful rock formations. Well, here we are. I'm coming back on the half-mile portage after dropping off the big pack and my little pack and the 2 canoe paddles. I'm heading back to get the canoe, but what's interesting here, this is like a sidewalk. There's some really interesting areas coming up where you can really see how the glaciers moved east to west here, because the rocks are totally, just scraped right down. And hopefully this half-mile hikes will dry off my lower half a little bit. I'm grateful I did decide to come out in shorts. So if I can get these things fairly dry, I can zip on the pants when I get to Ely and maybe get a Bucky burger at Ely Steakhouse. Let's see, it's Friday. They should be open for lunch. But it's really enjoyable if you pace yourself, if you don't overpack. And I borderline overpack sometimes. I tried to go light this time, but I kept notes on what I didn't use, what I wouldn't bring again, so I can probably shave a few more pounds off for my next solo adventure. Well, I'm still walking, and here's some of the neat areas I was describing where you can see how the glaciers really formed this area. And here's where kind of what I call the glacial sidewalk starts. And that's probably a 15-foot, drop. Thank God this little rock angles to the left, so there's no issue of slipping the wrong way. Like that. I found myself in around camp. Anytime I got down near water, I was saying to myself, slippery rocks, slippery rocks. Always remember they're slippery rocks. I'm coming up on another section here, this half-mile portage on Moose River South. That's another sidewalk section. This one's a little bit longer than the one we just passed. It is very humid. Again, we had torrential rains yesterday, then it cleared up about 7 o'clock. No rain during the night, but just high humidity. Look at this sidewalk. Look at this sidewalk. I think that's pretty noteworthy. And this just goes on and on, no roots. You know, there's some portages, like one I did last year on one of the links between lakes. It was like a football field of basketball-sized stones with all particular angles. Nothing is smooth and nice like this. You can see how much rain they got here, where it ran down the trail and washed. It created its own little dam. Well, hey there. Just in case you're curious, this is how it feels when you're portaging or portaging with a canoe on. Oh, nice, look at this. Also acts as an umbrella. It's really not that big a deal. Well, I got a Sola one that weighs like 28 pounds. So you can basically toss it around with one arm. But here we go. Portaging. Well, I'm just heading up to the next portage, and we're going to have a beaver dam coming up. But I wanted to stop here and just show you what I'm going through. There's all these little side bayous off of this, and if you don't stay on the main channel, you could be, you know, trying to figure out how to get back to the main channel. So you got to stay vigilant. When I came in, I marked several things, one being 2 big beaver dams I passed. But now comes the, actually not beaver dam, beaver houses. So now comes the beaver dam. So here is what everyone calls the big beaver dam. I mean, it runs a long way. So what I need to do is I'll go down here a little bit farther, find a place that's broad and steady, and I'll get out and I'll simply drag my canoe through it or over it. But right now I need to find a spot, because again, it's a pretty good sized beaver dam. And it looks like the elevation drop here is only about maybe 2 feet. Wish me luck. We had a little mishap at the beaver dam. I got broadside, I stepped out on a nice solid surface, stood up to get out of the canoe, and the surface yielded and put me about waist deep in muck. I got a little water in the canoe, nothing fell out. I just had to put it back up on shore and make its way around and get back in. The interesting thing is, I don't know if you can see over here, is a beaver dam that's roughly 4 feet tall. So this whole lake here, or this whole swamp, is all beaver made. So on that one, the beaver dam won. Nothing, you know, just enough to make things exciting. Yeah, I got a little bit of mud stuff, but you know, everything is in watertight containers, so I just got to get rid of some of the water in the canoe and then do this portage, and then I'm home stretch. There's only one more beaver dam, that's a very small one, and you basically just get out and drag your canoe over it and get back in on ground, not over the beaver dam itself. All right, so just check in. I'll check in a little bit. All right, this confirms my theory about the amount of rain and raising the levels down at the big beaver dam. When I came in, this little beaver dam was sticking out of the water by about 8-10 inches. And we had to portage around it here, get out, drag the canoe over, and get back in. Today, on the far side, right over here, I was able just to float right over it. So I want to say the lake, this river's up probably 2 inches. 2 inches, is my guess, from when I came in.